Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa Flanders. I'm a physiotherapist in Ottawa, Ontario, and I practice in women's health and pelvic floor physiotherapy. Today on It's Not TMI, we're going to be talking about skipping and more specifically double unders. One of the most common questions I hear from CrossFit athletes is, how do I stop myself peeing while I'm skipping or doing double unders? And we're going to talk about some of the common mistakes that I see and how you can start to correct those on your own. All right, so this is our athlete Pam, who is an excellent CrossFitter, and as you can tell from this clip, a very good skipper. So she's gonna be going through some examples of inefficient skipping technique for us, and at the end we're gonna talk about some ways that we can improve our skipping technique. So this is an example of a technique that a lot of new skippers and people that are new to CrossFit use. The technique is essentially just trying to bend your knees a lot further so that the rope can clear the 2 times underneath your feet. And what you can see from this video is that it's actually increasing the ground reaction force. So how much force is being pushed up through Pam's body. This makes it a lot more difficult for your pelvic floor to hang on. Those forces become very challenging on your pelvic floor. And it's really a technique that can really tire you out. It's quite inefficient. This next technique is one that I call the jackknife, and I see this a lot as well. And again, it's a technique where people are trying to lift their feet a little bit higher, and they're doing so by activating their abdominal muscles and their hip flexor muscles. What this does is it causes a lot of force and effort through our abdominals, through our hip flexors, again making it challenging for the pelvic floor to be able to overcome that force. It can really tire us out, and you can see that Pam is actually doing a lot more work than she has to do. So this next technique is one that's kind of like a kamikaze type technique, where you can tell that Pam is actually gripping that rope really tightly with her wrists. Her shoulders are really tight. This is shutting down, creating tension through her chest and her back, which is actually going to impact her breathing. So without proper breathing, she's going to be trying a lot harder to get that oxygen uptake in. And without proper breathing, her pelvic floor is not going to be able to work properly. She's gripping so tight, her shoulders are so tight. This really is not an efficient technique for skipping and very hard for the pelvic floor to be able to work properly. So what you can see in this next technique is that Pam's hands are a little bit behind her body, so she's almost trying to jump forward over top of the rope. Her hands disappear from her sight line. Her chin's also pointed up towards the ceiling, opening up her anterior chain and hence compressing the posterior chain. You can also see she's jumping really hard on the ground, and again, this is causing a lot of those ground reaction forces to come up through the body. All right, so we're going to go over a couple ways that we can start improving our double under technique. So what I've had here is I've had Pam take the rope out of her hands. She has relaxed shoulders, relaxed wrists, and without holding onto the rope, she doesn't actually have to worry about the rope going underneath her body, and she can work on just the technique of what the wrist is going to do. You can see that her hands are in front of her body and in her sight line, and she's starting by mimicking a single jump, and as she feels comfortable, all she's doing is jumping a little bit higher to mimic that second jump where the rope would be able to pass underneath the feet 2 times. And you can see she's still landing very softly, so she's decreasing the force that's going up through her body. So this is a great way to start practicing double under technique. So now that she's practiced the technique without the rope, we can actually put the rope back into her hands and get her to start practicing. She can again start with those single skips, and then as she feels comfortable, increase to the double skips. But what you can see in this final product is that she's landing very softly. Her body's in a very neutral position. Her eyes are in a neutral sight line, so she's not looking up, she's not looking down. She has relaxed shoulders. Her hands are slightly in front of the body where she can see them in her sight line, and she has a nice relaxed grip on that rope. I really hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, you can feel free to leave them in the comment section below. You can also feel free to click subscribe on my channel, and I hope you all have a great day.